how much milk you should give your baby according to their age. Now, when your baby is on formula milk, this is one of the most common question you must be having in your mind. So whether your baby is just 1 day old or a year old, understanding this is very, very essential so that there is no confusion at all and you exactly know that how much milk your baby is having in one particular feed. Now, many moms ask me this question, Doctor, my baby keeps on crying even after the feeding is done. Is he hungry? Is my milk not enough? So to clear all these doubts, make sure you watch this video till the end. Now first I will talk about the formula feeding. Now how do you calculate the milk intake? Okay, so for formula feeding I will explain it according to the weight of the baby. So see, if your baby is 3 kg weight, so the formula is 150 ml multiplied by the weight of the baby. So if your baby is 3 kg, it is 150 into 3. If your baby is 4 kg, it is 150 into 4. If your baby is 5 kg, it is 150 into 5. So for, let's consider if your baby's weight is 5 kg, so the total intake of milk is 750 ml per day. Now, how do you calculate per feed? Now you have to calculate, like if your baby is having 8 feeds per day, you have to divide this 750 ml divided by 8. If you are feeding your baby 10 times a day, then it is 750 divided by 10. So at one time, your baby's intake will be 75 ml of milk. So you have to go like this. Because sometimes what happens when I ask this question na कि एक time पे milk intake कितना है, how much milk is your baby having in one particular feed, many of the times moms don't know because they will just take that warm water and will add the scoop of that powder. But having these measurements is very, very important so that there is no overfeeding and there is no underfeeding also. Now this is according to the weight I told you, so always you have to calculate. So this is mostly from 0 to 6 months of age. So as the baby is growing up, from 6 to 9 months, so above 6 months you have started solids, we start with weaning. So the milk intake will come down to 600 to 700 ml per day. And then from 9 to 12 months, it will again come down to 400 to 500 ml per day. So as the baby is on, you are giving your baby solid food, make sure you are cutting down on the milk intake. Because what happens, when the baby is consuming a lot of milk, then they don't prefer eating solid foods. They don't want to eat solid food. And then this is the crucial time when you stimulate their appetite. So prioritically, you need to cut down on their milk intake and focus on the solid food. And then after 1 year of age, you can start with cow's milk, but again, only with your doctor's advice. So this is for formula feeding. Now for breastfeeding, obviously there is no measurement for breastfeeding. You can always go for demand feeding. It is very good for babies, but demand feeding doesn't mean you have to keep on feeding your baby very frequently. Now many mothers complain na कि जैसे बच्चा रोता है, whenever the baby cries, we feed. I feed the baby. Whenever my baby is crying, I'll feed my baby. So even if it is after 15 minutes, mothers just keep on feeding the baby. But this is not the correct way, because here what's happening that the baby is getting so tired after feeding so frequently, and it is not good for the mother also. So yes, you should keep in mind the demand feeding, but I prefer to keep a gap of 1.5 to 2, maximum 2.5 hours, and you have to feed your baby by keeping like 1.5 to 2.5 hours ka gap. Okay, because that will stimulate their appetite more. So this is for breastfeeding. Now in the initial days, what will happen that your baby will not take as much, because this breastfeeding, it is a process which is very new for the mother as well as for the baby. So you need to have that patience. Baby once will understand latching and suckling, then this breastfeeding is very easy. Okay. Now one important tip to remember here is whether your baby is on formula feed or is on breastfeeding. If you find that your baby is not gaining weight, you need to consult your doctor, because having that check on the weight in the initial 6 months is very, very, very important. So I hope everything is clear. The first main concern for formula milk, I told you about the calculations and how much milk your baby should have in one particular feed. That is very important. Okay, and if your baby is bottle feeding, make sure you have 3 to 4 bottles and you sterilize it properly so that your baby will not get any infection. If you found this content useful, make sure you hit like and share it with other new moms, and do not forget to subscribe for more such amazing content.